Hello, everybody. Welcome to Roll and Move Reviews Live. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I'm here with two very special guests today. I'm very excited about the two gentlemen who've decided to join me. We have, first of all, he's a friend of the show. You've seen him on several times. He's joined us for Geek Out. He's joined us for some different conversations. You know him from Board Game Blender, from his appearances all over. Oh, I got some feedback there. Sorry to break up your awesome interview or intro there,
It was
Asdruval.
such an epic
It was. It was.
opening, and you
It was just
paused.
going. All right. You know him from Board Game Blender and his internet appearances all over the board gaming world. He is my son's favorite board game reviewer, which is not in any way heartbreaking. Please welcome Asdruval the Retro Gamer.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Asdruval. How are you?
Good, good.
Thanks for joining us. And also, we have with us a new friend of the show. I'm very excited to have him on. You know him from his YouTube channel, from his various appearances on Board Game Breakfast. He is the man, I believe, who is the Bob Dylan to Tom Vassal's Paul McCartney in the board game review world. He is Cody the Discriminating Gamer. Hello, Cody. How you doing today?
Fantastic. Am I your daughter's favorite reviewer?
You may be. It's either
Okay,
you or
all right.
it's either you or Chaz Marler. It's a toss-up.
No! I lose to Chaz again!
Isn't that always the way?
It is. It is. And his birthday's one day before mine, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
you life, too.
We'll battle that out on another show. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay, Cody, I just got to get this out of the way, but you're one of my favorite people on. I've been watching you on Board Game Breakfast. I watch your The Discriminating Gamer. My favorite character is Evil Cody. In fact, I was going to continue the gag with the Justin Bieber board game.
Right.
When Chaz Marler did it first, and then you did it with Evil Cody, and at the end you're telling him that you realize this is just a board game, right? So my bit was going to be during the Halloween episode. I was going to pull out my Justin Bieber board game and be all scared about it, but I couldn't find my copy, so I had to settle for the Hannah Montana Girl Talk board game. But that's absolutely my most.
That shit was good.
Yeah, it was just as scary too. But Evil Cody, absolutely love Evil Cody, and I love all the stuff that you do.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. That's very kind of you.
I'm big fans of both you guys. Cody, I really do. I appreciate you coming in. Again, I enjoy your channel very much. I have a great time with watch all the stuff you do. And Asdruval, the stuff you do, I wish there was more of it. There's not that much up there. When's the YouTube channel coming?
I'm still trying to work a couple things out, but I'm gonna hopefully start my own channel here pretty quick. I'm starting to hash things out. Things are starting to slow down at work. I have a little bit more time, so hopefully sometime in the next few months I'll shoot some more content out there and actually start my own channel. But definitely still be part of the Dice Tower Network and Board Game Blender.
Sure. Well, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be exciting. So yesterday, guys, was International Tabletop Day. Unfortunately, I had a very hectic day and really didn't get to participate too much. But I know, Asdruval, you were telling me you had an event you went to. How did that go?
Yeah, it was. I headed up to Portland, bigger city, bigger places. They were trying to win some promos. They, I guess, Geek and Sundry sends out a pack of stuff to these stores that sign up for it, and you can go and try to win these promos. Usually, it's just a drawing or a show up or whatever it is. Last year, I was trying to win this a Felicia Day promo for Dead of Winter, which pretty cool to have, and a couple of other things. Didn't win that one. This year, I didn't.
And it better to win Felicia Day. All right.
This year was a little weird because I show up to this local shop in Portland, and looking around, watching people play games, and out of nowhere somebody goes, "Hey!" And I turn around, "Me?" And it goes, "Yeah, you're on Board Game Blender." And I'm all, "What?" And then all these people started coming up to me, and next thing I know, I'm taking selfies. I'm signing some autographs. I don't know why, but it was very surreal that people outside of my own family kind of know who I am. So that was a little strange to me. I kind of walked out of the store after the event was over, played a couple games. After the event was over, kind of perplexed, like, what just happened? You know, I wasn't prepared for any of that.
So no more public board gaming for you, huh?
Exactly. It's, everybody is asking me questions. In fact, one guy said, you came all the way out from Florida? I'm like, no. I live right here in Oregon, and they didn't know how that actually kind of worked, you know. Because they know that the Dice Tower is out of Florida, but, you know, they don't know that we're from all over the world and all across the United States, contributors from all over the place. So I guess I kind of broke some people's hearts there. So so it was pretty exciting. I had a good time.
Cody, were you getting mobbed by fans yesterday?
No, I was selling cars yesterday, so
Okay.
Saturdays are work days for me, so
Yeah.
I was trying to get that done. I was kind of bummed. I felt bad. I would have rather had been gaming, but you know,
Yeah.
got to eat.
I hear you.
And I love that sweet green.
Yeah, yesterday I had a pretty big family commitment that kind of took up most of my day, but I did manage to get one game in. I got to play my first playthrough of Parfume from Queen Games. I don't know if you guys have played that or not.
That's on my list.
Yeah, it's Have you ever played Fresco?
I haven't played that, no.
How about you, Cody? Have you played that one yet?
He's shaking his head no.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's basically like it's the same folks that did Fresco. It's a kind of a, I don't want to say dumbed down, more like a family version of that game. So we played that. My son played, my 7-year-old. He enjoyed it. The adults who played it, they enjoyed it too. So it's a pretty good game. I liked it. What were you playing yesterday, Asdruval, when you got to go? When you had a chance to play, when you weren't getting mobbed by adoring fans?
What games did you get to play? I got a really good game of Champions of Midgard in. Lost by a couple of points to, I believe she was 9 years old. That's always it's always entertaining. You know, people should. A lot of people tell me that, oh, when you play with children, you have to hold back. No way, man. These kids are really smart. I go full steam ahead, and they end up winning me anyway. Played a game of that, and I played a game of Marvel Legendary. I lost that one too. In fact, you know, I don't win very much. I always end up losing, but I always have a good time.
Cool. So, Cody, what games have you been playing lately when you've had the chance to play?
Well, you know, gosh, I kind of feel like I'm a victim of my own success in some ways because I'm getting a lot of review copies. So it's like most of the stuff I'm playing right now is just new stuff, you know, stuff that's just coming out, and that's great. But I find I don't have the time to play stuff I want to play. Here in March, Star Wars Rebellion came out, and I've already played that several times. I still want to play that some more because it's a freaking awesome game. So that's what I love. And there's so many I want to go back and hit and play, and I'm just so swamped with all the new stuff. So I played a game the other day. I haven't done my review for it yet, but I really like. I'm a huge fan of Twilight Struggle. You know, the Cold War game. I love Twilight Struggle. And I played the game the other night called 13 Days, and I'll have my review up before long. And it's kind of like a 45-minute version of that. It's just the Cuban Missile Crisis, and it's different. It's its own game, but it feels a lot like Twilight Struggle. I really enjoyed that quite a bit. That's
definitely one on my list. I'm into all things Cuban, so.
Who put that game out, Cody?
It was Ultra Pro and Jolly Roger Games, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'd like to check that one out. Yeah, I always like when they take the long games and give me the little shorter, simpler version of it, because the longer game may be the better game, but it's going to get to the table a lot less often. So.
That's true, but I'm a sucker for longer games. I mean, I think like a lot of people, my board gaming love developed playing those all-night Axis and Allies sessions, you know, and
sure.
And my favorite game is Twilight Imperium. You know, so I like the long games. But you know, I actually just bought. I haven't played it yet, but I bought the one that's the like quicker Battlestar Galactica.
Is that Dark Moon?
Dark Moon, yeah. I haven't played it yet, but I just bought. So I'm eager to see how that holds up.
It is absolutely awesome. I played it a handful of times already, and it's a great game. Great game.
Good to hear. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm trying to talk my group into playing that. They all really love Battlestar, and again, my thing with it is it's so long, and it's so those long contentious games. I mean, that's like a friendship ender. So, you know, I'm just like, let's take that same thing and take it down to about an hour, and that'll be a nice sweet spot for me. But I don't think they're willing to, you know.
The way if I lose a friend over a board game, then the time playing that game was well spent.
Yeah. But so I'm trying to get them to narrow it down to that hour, that little sweet spot for me. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying. If I get it, and I make them play it. They'll probably play it. So definitely want to check that one out.
So also, again, I've been playing solo. I've been playing the Pathfinder card game, the Skulls and Shackles.
Okay.
I've been trying to get through that solo. It's you know, because most of the time I can't get, you know, to a store or have people come over my house. So I like to keep a couple of solitaire games on hand, and that's the one I'm playing right now, solitaire.
How does that play solitaire versus with a group?
I like it. I mean, they in the rules they say that you can play with one person. You know, you have to scale down the cards a little bit on what you put out, but I really like it. I like playing the game solo. I haven't played it yet besides solo, but I think it's great. It's a nice little, you know, 45 minute to 1 hour game solo, and it just, when I come home from work, plop out that game, play it real quick, and I got my fix for the day.
Have you played any of the States of Siege games for Victory Point Games?
No, I have not.
They're good solo games. Some of them are better than others, but like Cruel Necessity is really good. You Lose on the Ramparts. They've got a lot of really fun mechanics. The Dawn of the Zeds, a zombie one. They're pretty fun solitaire games. I'm not a huge solitaire game guy, but every now and then I'll pull one of those out.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to check those out because like I said, you know, I pretty much sometimes have to play solo.
You don't have a lot of gamers out in your way?
When I head to Eugene, I go to the game store. Usually pick up a game there. I got another group that meets every other Saturday for a gaming session. They set out a couple of tables, play then, and then when I head up to Portland, I play also. But most of the time, it's just, you know, on the weekends where I get to play with a group. But, you know, Monday through Friday, it's either with my family, which, you know, sometimes they're complete duds playing because they're not, you know, when I'm playing a game, you know, I get all excited and they're just sitting there just kind of, whatever. When's this going to be over? But, yeah, when I'm with my gaming groups, everybody really gets excited. So it's definitely fun playing with other people besides my family.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, let's move on to the main question I wanted to ask you guys today. And this is a question I've wanted to ask on the show, and I figure the two of you were the perfect people to ask that with. You know, Asdruval, you being the retro gamer, and Cody, I know you have a background as a historian. So I wanted to ask you guys this question. I thought it'd be a lot of fun. And if you're watching live, please feel free to put in the comments your answer to this question as well. I want you to pick any 3 historical figures or celebrities, living or dead, 3 of them to play a game with, and which game would you play? And so I gave this question you guys a couple days ago, and I'm very eager to hear your answers here. So, Asdruval, why don't we start with you? Who are the 3 you're picking, and what's your game?
Okay, I've actually ranked these. I've given this a little bit of thought. I've ranked them. I'm going to start with my number 3. My number 3 is going to be, first of all, a little disclosure. I'm a wrestling fan.
Okay.
WWE wrestling. You know, I'm not like a mega fan, but you know, I do watch it on Monday nights. I have all the trivia games. They do come out with board games, but they all happen to be trivia games. And if you do not watch any of the show or know anything about wrestling, you wouldn't be able to play the game. But last year, they came out with WWE Superstar Showdown by Gale Force 9. And it got really good buzz. But all of a sudden, it just kind of died out. And I would like to play with anybody on the WWE roster this game.
Okay.
Just because it's really easy to learn, it's easy to teach. It's a fun game. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to play the game. It's actually a board game. And I feel that the company just kind of let it die out. I mean, they can go so much with this. They can put out a couple of new figures every couple of months with some cards, because that's all it is. They actually had an interview with one of the guys that is in the base set. He didn't even know that they had a board game out. It just kind of blows my mind. You know, they could have so much promotion with this. You know, playing it at events. You know, having the actual superstars play this game, but they just kind of let it die out, and I'm kind of a little confused and upset about that. And I don't see any. Gale Force 9 has not put out any new information about them even making expansions or anything like that. So that's kind of an unfortunate thing. But that's my number 3 is any superstar on the WWE roster.
Okay.
My number 2, I'd like to play a board game with Bruce Jenner, who is now Caitlyn Jenner, because he actually has his own board game. It's the Bruce Jenner Decathlon game, which was made right after the Olympics. It's a little dexterity game, and I'd like to see if I can beat him at that. And my number 1 pick is I'd like to play any kind of world domination game, whether it be Axis and Allies, whether it be Risk, with Ernesto Che Guevara. See if we can both control the world. I'd love to play that with him, because his vision of world or Latin domination, you know, really intrigued me. So those are my 3 picks.
That's awesome. Cody, what do you think of those picks?
Well, they're fantastic. You know, I got to tell you, I played the Gale Force 9 wrestling game a while back, and I'm not a huge wrestling fan, and I was a little underwhelmed by it personally. I didn't hate it, but it didn't really click for me, which is surprising because like every other game Gale Force 9's put out, I have loved. You know, Firefly, Sons of Anarchy, Homeland. I've all really loved those. That one I just thought was so-so, but I respect your choices.
Thank you.
If there's a wrestling game out there that I was recently just exposed to, and I grew up watching wrestling too, and I don't know, Ezra, I think you're a little younger than me, so I don't know if you remember this, but back like in like the late 80s, early 90s, all the wrestling magazines used to promote these wrestling games, and it was like these kind of like cheesy looking art, and there'd be like 2 guys that look like big beasts, like hair and everything, like just stereotypical 80s wrestlers, and they would and it was a game where basically you like sent in and you made up a character and they sent it out, and I always thought like, I don't know, that doesn't look too good. So apparently this game has existed for like 20, 25 years.
Yeah, it was the play by mail, right?
Yeah, but they have a it's a tabletop version. It's not a board game, but this is more for wrestling fans because it really breaks it down move by move and really pace it like a wrestling match. What's the name? Champions of the Galaxy, I think it's called.
I don't quite remember the name, but I was involved in something like that, and
yeah.
I'm not as young as you look. I'm 45 years old, if you can believe that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the name of it though was off the top of my head.
Champions of the Galaxy or something like that, but it was but it's very, and the guy keeps up with. I mean, if you want to play like 80s WWF, he has a series for that. If you want to play like current wrestlers, he has a set for that. If you want to play like the Japanese Independent Federations, you play that. And then he has like his own fictional wrestling world that he created. So if wrestling's a thing for you, I think that's definitely worth checking out.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Cody, what's your answer to the question? Any three historical figures, living or dead, who would you play a game with? What game would you play? I'm eager to hear this.
Well, first one, I would want to play either a game of Axis and Allies or Churchill with Churchill. I'm a fascinated by Winston Churchill as a historical figure. He is, I've read tons of books about and by him. He is one of those people that is endlessly fascinating to me on a lot of levels. Love to have a conversation with the guy, but man, wouldn't that be fun to actually kind of recreate World War II and just see, what was it, Franklin Roosevelt said about Churchill, this is a man who has 1,000 ideas a day and only 4 of them are any good. And Churchill responded with, this coming ill from a man who has no ideas at all. So, just the wits and I think he'd just bring a certain joy to any game he brought. A ruthlessness. He'd want to win, but I think there'd be a certain joy to any game he brought. So I'd really like to play a game with Churchill. Axis and Allies with Churchill. Second one.
Awesome.
And I have to tell you too, because my criteria when I play games with people, I want to laugh. I want to have fun, and I want to laugh. My second one would be I'd want to play a game of the Resistance Avalon with Groucho Marx. I think that would be, again, just absolutely hysterical. I mean, I don't know if he'd be any good if he'd give the game away of being a traitor or not, but man, it'd be fun to find out. So that's my number 2. My number 3, as far as the figure goes, I can't decide between Otto von Bismarck or Henry Kissinger, who is still alive, playing a game of diplomacy.
Oh, jeez.
Diplomacy is Kissinger's favorite board game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, both he and John F. Kennedy said it was their favorite board game.
Oh, wow.
So I'd like to. I think that'd just be fun. That or Game of Thrones, the board game, which is essentially a riff on diplomacy.
Sure.
Either one of those, I'd really get a kick out of playing with either of those guys. I just think they both have a very methodical mind. Both could probably look you in the eye in all sincerity and tell you exactly what they're going to do, and then turn around and do something completely different. So, I don't know. I get a huge kick out of that.
Oh my
Speaking
gosh.
of long games, man, diplomacy. We used to play like 11, 12-hour sessions of that back when I was a kid.
Time well spent, right?
That's what I keep telling myself.
No, that'd be that sounds like a lot of fun. I especially like the I didn't know those guys played diplomacy. That's interesting. That kind of paints them in a different light for me.
Yeah, Diplomacy came out in I think it was released in 1958, and so they probably sent. I'm almost wondering if maybe they sent Kennedy and Kissinger copies. I mean, I don't even know if they did that back then, but just to kind of get the reactions of it. But I know there was a news. I've read newspaper articles from the era that have had quotes from Kennedy and Kissinger about the game, and so it was pretty interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you think, Asdruval?
That's very cool. I didn't know that fact either, but those are some good choices. Coming from a historical background, I was kind of figuring that your guys would be all kind of historical, but yeah, those are interesting. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. No, I came up with the question and I had trouble answering. I honestly didn't come up with my final answer till this morning, because there's so many different ways you can go. There's so many different games you can pick, so many different people throughout history you can enjoy playing with. And I thought about going kind of the way you did, Cody, with like picking somebody who would be really good at the game. But I'm thinking I want to win. I was thinking, I'll play Memoir 44 with Pat and Rommel, but they're going to steamroll me. I want to have a chance to win. So I picked my game first. I was thinking, okay, maybe Founding Fathers with the Founding Fathers, something like that. But I decided I wanted to have more of a eclectic group of different personalities and different people throughout history. So I said, you know what? anybody I pick, if I'm picking a significant historical figure, they're probably going to be smarter than me. They're going to be wiser than me. They're just going to be overall better people than me. So there's really not a competitive game I'm going to have a great chance of beating these guys at. So I said, okay, I'm going to go with a co-op, but I still want to have some intrigue, some intensity, and just really pull out different personalities. So the game I picked, the one we mentioned already today, I picked Battlestar Galactica. I want to play it with Niccolo Machiavelli, Martin Luther King Jr., and William Shakespeare.
Wow.
And my reasoning is this. Machiavelli, in my group, when you play Battlestar, and I assume most groups have a guy like this, there's always one guy you just assume is the Cylon.
Yeah.
In any Hidden Traitor game, no matter what, that guy always looks guilty. So that's going to be Machiavelli. So if he's the Cylon, it's going to be really hard for him, and I want to see him wiggle his way out of that and convince us he's not. If he isn't the Cylon, then it kind of makes it easier for whoever is. But like Martin Luther King Jr., he's the guy I picked him because he's the one I would want on the real Battlestar. If I was on Battlestar Galactica, Martin Luther King Jr. is the leader I want there, inspiring us, leading us out of that. But what if he's the Cylon? Can he bluff his way through that? Can he work his way through that? So that's why I picked those two guys. And then, like you said, Cody, I want to have fun. I want to enjoy the game. Two serious guys I picked who are probably going to take this game pretty seriously. So the third one I picked was William Shakespeare, someone who's going to enjoy the game, have fun with it, poke fun at the other players, not take it too seriously. And like I said, it is a long game, so I want somebody who's going to kind of like make light of it and make it an easy, 3 hours. How long it takes to play.
The tragedy of Gaius Baltar.
So that was my pick. I like I said, I went for a more diverse group, but I think that'd be a fun game to play.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'm down for any game of Battlestar Galactica, and that sounds like a pretty fun group there.
Yeah, I think that'd be a cool group to play. Now, Cody, let me ask you, just with your historical background, when we're talking about historical games, what are some of your favorites? What are some games that you really think capture the historical theme and really draw you into the world of time and the world that it represents the best?
Well, again, I really like the. I owe a lot to Axis and Allies because that's the game that really kind of first turned me on to hard gaming. But also, too, I think Twilight Struggle, again, another one we mentioned, I think that just so brilliantly encapsulates Cold War, both that and 1989, which is about the year 1989, but virtually the same engine, Struggle. Mm-hmm. I really think that that does it quite well. Gosh, I'm looking around at my game shelf here. There's so many. Diplomacy, too. I love the way diplomacy makes you really consider how can you achieve your ends, but you have to screw people over. Even if you're not somebody who's inclined to screw people over, you have to do that in that game. And it kind of like real diplomacy there. But also, too, Churchill is a great game. It came out last year. We're recreating all the Allied conferences from World War II. That one is just absolutely fascinating to me. So, I don't know. There's a lot of great historical games.
Now, I know you're a more serious war gamer, so this might be kind of silly to you. But do you play Memoir 44 ever?
Yeah, okay. So first of all, let me back up. He's a serious war gamer. Not really. I have played. I used to play some more war games than I do, and one of my problems with war games is there gets a point of diminishing returns. If they become too complex, they kind of do turn me off. And I know that a lot of people just more and more complexity. I never got to that level of complexity in war games. So I always consider myself more of a kind of a light war game. I'll occasionally do something a little heavier, but of course I've run out of kind of friends to play those games with. So I love Memoir 44. I don't play it often. I think something like Commands and Colors Napoleonics I like a little bit better. There's a little more depth there, but I like Memoir 44. I think it's a fun game.
Okay. I enjoy it because just talking about pulling you into the actual world. I think it does a really good job with very simple mechanics, kind of recreating what happened. I love the one. It's early in the first in the base game, but the one where you drop your paratroopers in. You just drop them on the board. I don't know if you played that one, but where you drop them on the board, and wherever they land, that's where they landed in the campaign. So just little mechanics, little things like that I think do a really good job of making you feel like it really.
Uh-oh.
We lost him.
It's all right.
Now we really lost him. The host has left the show.
Well,
as we're talking about different kinds of war games, I'm more of a light. I don't really like too heavy of war games. You know, I do play Axis and Allies, probably again one of my favorite war games, and Memoir 44. But the groups that I play with, they really don't. You know, I try to say, oh, let's play this game, and they're all like, oh man, war again. You know, they're into like the fantasy and the sci-fi stuff, and it's hard to get, at least where I live, a group that will actually play those kind of. In fact, I haven't played Memoir for a year, and I haven't played like Axis and Allies for probably about 2 years. So it's been a while for me playing those kind of war games. Just hard to get a group together that enjoys that.
It is, yeah. I actually just picked up. Oh, is he back?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, we don't see you.
Yeah.
We lost you for a minute. We were scared.
No.
We were about
we kept the show going for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I know I could trust you, consummate professionals. Go ahead. I'll try and get my picture here. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Well, I was just telling Cody that I do play war games, but just light to medium, not really anything heavy, and it's hard for my gaming groups to actually play a World War II game because I don't know if they're burned out or they don't like it, but I do play Memoir 44 and I do play Axis and Allies, but it's been a while since I played either of the two.
Yeah, I play. I mean, again, it's just a matter of the personnel you have to play with. I don't like the huge, like, the war games that take days to play and you're actually moving. Like, you have the equal number of troops that are actually on the board in the real battle. Like, those are too big for me. You have to, okay, nobody touches for a week.
When you get down to things like when they're talking about armor thickness and facings, when it gets into the minutia and it becomes more of a simulation rather than a game, you lose me.
So, I mean, I love the theme, and like you're talking about, even stuff off the battlefield, maybe like what you're talking about, Cody, with Churchill, where you're not actually, you don't have tanks going up against tanks. It's more about the overall event. I love the theme. I love the time period. But yeah, with my group the same. It's anything really in depth or long is going to be hard to sell.
You know what is a fantastic game I just discovered about a year ago. It's a game. It's a World War II era game. It's not really a war game per se, but my friend Kevin introduced it to me. He had his copy from 1971. It's been out of print for years, but it's Origins of World War II. And it is one of the most fun World War II themed games I've ever played because it's diplomacy. My favorite mechanic in any kind of a game is negotiation. I love negotiation in games, and this is a game where you're constantly negotiating with other players. You're trying to take over countries in the years preceding World War II, trying to diplomatically align them with your countries. And it's absolutely fascinating, and I love. I want to try to do a playthrough sometime on my channel. But, organizing it.
Who publishes that one?
It was Avalon Hill. It was Avalon Hill back in the day. But like I say, it's been out of print for years. I actually went on, I think, like the Noble Night Games and found a used copy that I bought. But it's really cool.
You got that one in your collection, Asdruval?
That doesn't ring a bell. Yeah, that doesn't ring a bell. Does not ring a bell. I'm gonna definitely check that out. Probably go on the hunt for it. Hopefully, it's not too expensive.
I don't think it was. I don't think I paid too much for it. So.
Awesome. So, anything else? What else you play as far as like time period games? Not necessarily war games, but what are some really, as far as theme goes, some time period themes that really capture your imagination you really enjoy to play?
I like, there's been some games set in the Roman Empire that I've enjoyed. And some of them are war games. Julius Caesar by Columbia Games is a block war game that was pretty fun. And there's another one set in Rome, and I can't think of it right now, but it's pretty good. I like Letters from Whitechapel, which is Victorian London, 19th century London, which is a great and Fury of Dracula too. I mean, obviously there's a fantastical element there, but it's Europe in the 19th century, and I like that one. So, yeah, I'm sure I'll think of a million after we're done talking.
What about you, Asdruval? What time periods do you really enjoy playing in?
I do like that the Rome, Colosseum Gladiator type board games. I got several that I play, which right now off the top of my head I can't think, just like Cody. I do the early, like the Lewis and Clark, early American West, like old Wild West board games. I enjoy those a lot also. And there's one other group. I've been trying to Stone Age. I was just introduced to Stone Age last year, and I think it's a fantastic game. So I've been trying to get my hands on anything kind of that style, caveman, beginning of the earth type of game.
Sure.
That's what I'm kind of into right now, is that kind of style.
Yeah.
Or that kind of theme.
I really enjoy the like Revolutionary War period and after, like the founding of America, from the war to the actual creation of the government and all that. So I mentioned it before, but Founding Fathers are games I really enjoy.
That's one I've not played, but I really want to. I've heard nothing but good things about it. So.
Oh yeah, it's a really fun game, and I mean, it really captures. I mean, there's an element to it where it's almost like an Elseworlds kind of thing, because you can change what happens. Like you can change what passes, what goes into the Constitution, which doesn't. You could change how the laws turn out. But I mean, it does a really great job of capturing the. I mean, you have every delegate is represented in the game. Represented in the game with a card, and there's a little. It has their game text, what they do, and then it explains something about them. Some historical fact about them at the convention. So I mean, you really learn about these more obscure people who were at the Constitutional Convention and what they did and the impact they had, and they really do a great job of turning that into a game mechanic.
Speaking of the American Revolution, it's more of a war game, but have you played Washington's War?
I have not.
GMT?
I'd like to.
That's a pretty good one. And speaking of, again, of historical stuff, I just saw GMT's reprinting 1960, The Making of a President, which I've never played, which I'm so excited about, and I'm so excited to see that one in print again.
I enjoyed that game. I've played it once, and only once. It's the one, I think I've never felt dumber playing a game than when I played that game. Because I was Kennedy. Was I Kennedy? I think I was Kennedy, and I was up by a lot early on. And I looked at the board, and I mean, I had a huge lead. And I looked at the board, and I said, I am going to lose all this. I have no idea how to hold on to this lead, and I'm about to get destroyed. And it happened. I just lost everything. It just all fell apart, and I just watched it happen and didn't know what was going on. But it's a fun game. It's another one of those ones where they take the actual historical facts and turn them into game mechanics, and I love when they do that.
Well, have you played another great one that does that? Is Freedom the Underground Railroad? You played that?
Yeah, I have. I just played that for the first time about a month ago.
Yeah, that's a great game.
Yeah. If you're looking for that the 1960 game, but maybe a little quicker, a little simpler. I'm sure it's out of print by now because it was a topical game. But they made one in about the 2008 election. It was Obama versus McCain. It was called Campaign Manager.
I saw that. I never played it, but I saw it.
It used very similar mechanics to the to 1960, but basically you only fought for battleground states. Like a lot of the delegate count was already basically tied when you started, and then you fought over maybe like a dozen different battleground states. And again, it took and if you play it in 08, 09, stuff just happened, and it really took like Sarah Palin, her card comes out, and the McCain player's just like, oh man, something bad's going to happen. And then Joe Biden comes out and he puts his foot in his mouth. You know, the McCain player plays his card and Biden puts his foot in his mouth, and you know, and then you know, there's a Joe the Plumber card. Joe the Plumber comes out, and you know, that's some impact in the game. So it really captured that same feel. But I mean, it's probably, I mean, that game you probably play in under 30 minutes.
What was the? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cody.
I was just wondering what the playing time was on 1960 when you played it.
It was the first time I played it, so I mean, I was learning how to play it. Probably took a couple hours, maybe 2.5, 3 hours. But I mean, that was with learning how to play and getting everything. I guess the regular playing time is probably like Twilight Struggle or 1989.
Cool.
Because I've never played either of those. That's 1960 one in the series.
Play
There's while we're on the kind of presidential kick here, there's an old Parker Brothers game called So You Want to Be President, where basically you're just vying for delegates in each state and trying to concentrate on which state has the most delegates and trying to outmaneuver your player, which I'm going to be showcasing hopefully in the Blender in November. We're going to have a presidential themed episode, I guess.
That sounds cool.
So hopefully I'll be able to show that off.
There's one coming out this year too, and I can't remember. It's on Kickstarter, or it was on Kickstarter. It funded. I put it on my list of my most anticipated for 2016 because it looks really cool. I think it's just called Campaign Trail, and it's a presidential election themed game, but it's very much there's no basis. It's not historically based. So you're playing as, you know, made-up characters, so you're not really beholden to any historical events. And I thought that looked pretty cool.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cody, are you into Kickstarter at all?
Have I backed stuff on Kickstarter? Yeah. I've backed a few games. I was kind of bummed. I backed the last Zombie side, and I forgot to do my shipping because they do the shipping later, so it's not in your pledge, and so I still haven't got it yet. I'm probably going to be another month or so. So that was my own fault, you know. But it's just one of those things that kind of makes you mad. Yeah, but I'm trying to think what else. You know, I Kickstarted a few games, but I'm not one of these guys that's like, what's the next thing on Kickstarter? What's the next thing on Kickstarter? I'd rather kind of, you know, I feel like I've already got stuff coming on me through the pipeline companies that want me to review it, and to be perfectly blunt, I'm kind of at a point where I don't know that I'd ever kickstart a game that wasn't from an established company, just because I've heard some horror stories out there, people losing money or just taking forever, and I actually kickstarted a game in 2013. The game still hasn't been produced.
Jeez.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So
well, I think
once the game gets funded, there's no way. It's just a waiting game, right? Where you just have to wait for it.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially.
So you, in a sense, somebody could lose money, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. Do you Kickstarter?
I don't, and I was when I was emailing Kirk, you know, the only thing I know about Kickstarter is what Tom said or what Suzanne says on Breakfast every Monday. You know, that's the only thing. That's my only exposure to Kickstarter. I don't really follow it too much.
There's, you know, I'll look on it from time to time, and I actually just had a friend do a party game on Kickstarter, and I made a video for him, and so I mean, I don't mean to imply there's not good, honest people that are going to get stuff done on there, because I know there are, but it's just at a point where, you know, you kind of get burned a couple of times. This game that I backed for a few years ago, it was not an inexpensive game. I mean, it looked awesome, and you were paying for awesome, and it's just, you know, I just feel like you just don't know what you're getting, and so I'd rather go with more established companies, you know?
Well, that's how I feel about it, too. I mean, my thing is, I could take, you know, the, say, $70 I'm going to spend on the game that I'm going to kickstart, or I could take that $70 and spend it on one of the 50 games that are available right now that I want to buy, and buy that game that I get now, play it, and then a year and a half, 2 years from now, when the game that I was going to kickstart comes out, I'll just buy it off the shelf.
Yeah,
There's just too much.
yeah, and I think the big advantage to most games by doing a Kickstarter is they're going to give you like Kickstarter exclusives, and they're going to give you, and theoretically it's going to be out before the regular game comes out. But honestly, I'm at the point now where I just feel like, I don't really need those exclusives.
No, I feel the same way. I mean, they're nice to have, but I mean, and a lot of times it seems if I really want them, I can go get them after the fact. None of them seem like permanently exclusive where you're never going to be able to get your hands on them. And like I said, I mean, there's so many games coming down the pipeline that, okay, a year and a half from now, if all the stars align, you can play this game. So, okay, but there's that game sitting right over there that I can go grab off the shelf and buy that now and play tonight. So I'm going to pick that game. And I'm like, same thing could. I mean, there's a lot of games I love that came out of Kickstarter. Some of my favorite games are Kickstarted. And so I'm not bashing the whole idea of it. But just personally, it's not something that I'm, that prone to do.
Right.
Yeah, and I know, Kirk, me and you have had conversation after conversation, but I'm in the same boat as you. I want it now, and I'd rather spend my hard-earned bucks on something that I'm able to get on my hands on right away. But for other people seem to just back Kickstarter, and that's fine too, and it's a way for publishers to see, I guess, is there really interest in this game? And I guess that's because some big companies are Kickstarting, like Queen Games.
Yeah.
They do a couple Kickstarters. Cool Mini or Not does Kickstarters, and
they're using it as a pre-order system. The big companies have a pre-order system.
Right.
And it seems like Kickstarter has become kind of like a sub-hobby for some people. Like, I mean, I talk to some gamers. I mean, that's all they talk about is Kickstarter. It's almost like they're exclusively getting their games from Kickstarter, which is fine if that's something they enjoy and that's how they enjoy getting their games. But I mean, if I was going to pour all my board game budget into Kickstarter games and not buy any new games, I mean, that's we're looking at a year or more before that pipeline starts moving, and I'm getting a steady stream of games. So I mean, that's not something I could ever do, is focus solely on Kickstarter, like it seems like a lot of people are doing.
Right.
Well, I think it's appropriate we're doing this in a having this conversation on a historical themed show, because I don't know if we can get 3 board gamers together in a room or on a chat line. All 3 of them aren't enthralled with Kickstarter. That doesn't happen too often. I think we're really in the minority here. So
Could be.
And I think my problem too is not like I said, I have no problem with the concept of Kickstarter, but the thing is with like Board Game Geek, you go on there now, and it's just like it's an infomercial for Kickstarter. I used to be able to go on there and find, okay, what games are coming out soon, what am I going to play soon, and now everything's a Kickstarter. And again, that's fine. I want there's a lot of good games that are going to come out that I want to play them, but if I'm not going to back them, I don't need the information now. And I don't want to have to sort through, 400 Kickstarter potential Kickstarter games to get to that one game that's actually being published, in the process of being published.
Not yet.
Exactly. Well, guys, no, that's all right. We've talked a lot about games. Is there anything else going on? What's this week? We talked about this some in my last show, so I'll keep my opinions to a minimum. But Civil War, Captain America: Civil War comes out this week. You guys have any thoughts on it? Interest in seeing it? What are you expecting from it?
Well, I'm really wondering if the Confederacy is going to win this time. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I like the superhero movies, and I don't think I'm quite as into it as a lot of people are, but I enjoy them. I get a kick out of them, and I'll tell you, we got 8 months till December. It's Rogue One. That's what I'm all about, baby.
Yeah, I saw that trailer. I got really excited for that. That looks like it's really going to be a really good movie.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see Civil War on Thursday night, so the
Hmm.
midnight showing, and just pay for it at work in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, really excited about it. It seems that, especially with the Captain America movies, it seems each one just got better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the first Avenger was okay. Um, Winter Soldier was completely awesome, and I'm expecting good things from Civil Wars. What I've seen so far in the previews is going to be really exciting. Same thing with the Avengers. You know, they just kept getting a little bit better, a little bit better. Um, but I'm also excited to, you know, we got a lot of good. We got the Suicide Squad coming up,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange coming up, the new Star Wars coming up. Just, you know, the rest of the year looks really good for movies for me.
It's a good time to be a geek.
There
Yeah.
you go.
You know, talking about Rogue One, Cody, I've been hearing all these people talking like, oh, there's a Star Wars movie every year now. Why are they giving us? I'm like, why is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
That is amazing. We went like through like a 20-year drought where there were no Star Wars movies, and then they put out a bunch of crappy ones, and now we're gonna get like probably a pretty good Star Wars movie every year. I got no
I
complaints about
remember
that.
being in high school. This was pre-prequels,
Mhm.
and thinking to myself, wouldn't it be cool if they just had a bunch of Star Wars films set in the Star Wars universe that weren't necessarily part of the same story? They weren't all about Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. I remember thinking about that in high school, how cool that would be, and here we are. So it's like,
Yeah.
excellent.
Well, I mean, when I was in high school, it was like I became more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan, just because there was more of it. You know, I mean, if you want a new,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, if you wanted more Star Wars, it was novels and comic books and things like that. But I mean, Star Trek had, at least one or two TV shows going on at a time, put out a movie every 2 or 3 years. So I mean, that's where they were producing the content. So I wanted
And
more
what
Star Wars back then, but I was, starving for it.
and what's cool is with Star Trek, they're doing the next series is going to be an anthology series. Every season is going to be a different.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think that's going to be really cool.
Yeah. No, but I am excited for Rogue One. I mean, I saw that actress they got to play Mon Mothma, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that looks just like her. That was
He
crazy.
played Mon Mothma in the Revenge of the Sith in the deleted scenes.
Oh, is it the same actress?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good casting. And it's just cool to go back and see the original trilogy world again, like seeing those uniforms and all the equipment the exact same. I'm really excited to go back into that world, so I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Me too.
All right, guys. Well, before I let you go, is there anything else you guys wanted to cover? Any other topics you wanted to talk about, or did you want to expand on anything we've already discussed?
What happened to our 30-second free rant?
Do you have a 30-second free rant you'd like to take?
Yeah, a little bit like 45 minutes, 45 seconds to a minute. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I won't even start the clock. It's at your discretion.
Okay.
You go and you stop whenever you're ready.
A lot of people have been discussing about the thing with the Asmodee whole situation with them not. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they're going to be charging the online retailers just a little bit more for product than, say, the local game stores.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's another company that went as far as saying that we're going to release board games 2 weeks in advance to local game stores instead of giving it to the online retailers. But what I think that they need to do is they need to offer something a little extra to the local game stores where you cannot get it online, like a promo, something extra, a little bit better pieces, something. I think that that's the direction that these companies need to go because, in my opinion, I think that the online retailer is destroying the local gaming stores, and I think that they're trying to fix that. And I do applaud them for it, but I think that it's not enough what they're doing. I think that they need to go and give the local game stores a little something extra that you cannot buy online.
That's a very good point. Very good point.
No, I think that's a good idea. I mean, it's similar. I guess we're talking about with Kickstarter, where you get your special promo or your special stretch goal. I guess it wouldn't be called a stretch goal, but whatever item you're going to get. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think whatever you can incentivize people to walk into a real store is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a way that we're going to grow the hobby, and I think that that's a way to do it. To get people into the store, to actually get people to play the game, instead of just sitting at your house and just buying it online.
And I would add this too, and I'll do a little mini rant here. If you're going to a game store and you're playing there, you're making use of their facilities, spend money there. Because I know so many people who will go to a store because that's where their group meets, and they give them the space, and they give them the opportunity, but then they go and buy all their stuff online. And if you want to shop online, that's fine. That's up to you. That's no problem. But I mean, if you're if you're using the facilities the store is making available to you, make it worth their while. Spend some money there. It drives me crazy. I know people go in the stores to spend money, and they're stepping over these guys who are sitting there playing Pokemon for 4 hours and not spending a dime at the store. And it's just so. I mean, yeah, if you're at a store, if you're using the store's facilities, spend money there. Make it worth their while. They're not there. They're not keeping the doors open for free. They're not keeping the lights on for free. Give them a couple bucks. Throw them a bone every once in a while.
Right. I mean, it's just as much as buying a candy bar or a soda, which they all have.
Yeah.
Buy a pack of freaking Dice Masters. It's $1.
Yeah. Or if you're going to play there, maybe play a game there. Maybe buy the game or buy some of the components for the game there at least. Don't bring all the stuff you brought online and say, hey, we're going to use your space because it's here and it's free.
Right.
Good
cool,
point. Good.
Absolutely. Cody, did you have anything you wanted to rant about?
We just spent some time poo-pooing Kickstarter, but I'd like one thing, and this is kind of a brief question too, because I know we all got to run. But just I find, with my new job and stuff, I don't have a lot of time. And I'm actually kind of, I've got a friend of mine, Holly, who does some reviews on my channel. And I'm trying to get her to review more. And ultimately, I'd like to get some equipment for her. And I'm thinking of actually doing a Kickstarter to buy some more equipment for the channel. And have you considered doing Kickstarters for your channels, either of you, or you're reviewing? And I mean, do you think that's something that's viable? Do you think that's something that would help you out? And do you think people would be interested in it?
I'll go first. I know for me that my lighting sucks big time. I could spend some money on some lighting. My camera, I'm just using like a digital camera. I'd love to have a camera. I was thinking about that, Rod. So far, every person that I've seen, Tom Bassel does this Kickstarter every year. There's another gal, Girls Gaming Shelf, I think, that just completed their Kickstarter. The guy from, what's his name, Rodney Smith does a Kickstarter, and they all seem very successful. So I think that if I was going to reach that next level of production, I think that I would consider using Kickstarter or Indiegogo. One of those.
I definitely think, for me, it's like a chicken and the egg thing, because I definitely think the two of you, you have both have a big enough name, I think, where you get a positive response. I'm at the point, and I'm like you, Asdruval. I mean, my lighting is kind of wrecked. My equipment, I think, my computer, my laptop's on its last leg here. I think that's why I dropped out on there for a second, because couldn't handle everything I had running. And I want more, and I have ideas, stuff I want to do creatively, but I need more. I need better software. I need better hardware, But for me, it's like I said, chicken and the egg, because at this point I'm so small, and I'm not recognized out there, that if I put a Kickstarter out there, it'd be like, who is this guy? Why is he doing this? But I think for the two of you, I think and again, I'd like to be at kind of the place that you're at, before I were to launch a Kickstarter. But it's like, okay, how do I get out there how do I get to that level without actually doing the Kickstarter? So for you, I think it's a great idea for you. I mean, for either of you. I mean, you were talking about getting started, Asdruval. I mean, I think that's something you would both probably find a lot of success with.
Very good, very good.
So
well, I'm considering it.
I saw you mentioning something on Twitter. I saw you putting some ideas out there about it, and
yeah. And I got to be honest, at this, because I'm thinking about it. At this point, it's just like, now where am I going to find the time to run a Kickstarter campaign?
Yeah.
So that's part of it. So we'll see.
I've been talking to a few different people who run Kickstarters. I know I interviewed one of the guys from Board with Life, and they did their second season on Kickstarter, and also a friend of mine, Larry Wick, who does Game Wick Games, small publisher. He's been Kickstarting some stuff, and just hearing the stories about how difficult it is and how much work it is. Yeah, it's definitely, I think, something that's very time consuming.
Were they both successful Kickstarter? Did they get funded?
One did, one did not. And one's actually, probably my next show I'll be talking about. They're going to be relaunching the Game Wick Games, will be relaunching their Kickstarters soon here, and that's one I'm definitely going to back, because let me plug them now, because let me give them this game here, Pittsburgh 68, and look for it. If it's not up yet, it's going to be soon. What they're doing is, this is based on a series of game. I did a review for this. My favorite review I've done. I actually went out to the cemetery. If you've seen Night of the Living Dead, I went to the cemetery where they filmed that first opening scene of Night of the Living Dead, and filmed my review for this game there. So it's a very fun review, very fun game. And what they're doing is they're making a board and some ancillary product for this game, but they're putting out a Cthulhu game and some kind of alien invasion game, but all within the same universe, and they're kickstarting that. So look for that. Little plug for them. But they're relaunching. Long answer to an easy question. They are relaunching this month.
Very cool.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I was really excited to have both you on. You didn't disappoint. I think it was a great show. A lot of entertaining stuff from both of you. So I hope you both are willing to come back on soon and talk about some other cool board game stuff. Let's get some plugs for you guys. And Asdruval, where can people find you?
I can be seen on the Dice Tower Network Board Game Blender every other Thursday, and right now that's the only place I'm exclusive.
You want to put out your home phone number or address in case people don't get hold of you?
I got mobbed too much yesterday, so
you're feeling the pressure that you're your own celebrity, right?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, it was weird because I was wearing a Batman shirt, and they go, "You're not wearing a white shirt." I'm like, I know. Because I always wear a white shirt on my segments. Like, oh, okay.
Cody, how about you? Where can folks find you at?
So our YouTube channel is The Discriminating Gamer, and we've got, I don't know, maybe 200 reviews up so far, and I try to get about 2 out a week. I don't always make that, but that's what I'm trying to do. You can find us on Facebook at The Discriminating Gamer. You can find us on Twitter. I think we're at TDG Evil Cody. And and of course our website is thediscriminatinggamer.com. So please check those things out if you get a chance.
All right, thank you very much, guys. You can find Roll and Move reviews on YouTube, Facebook. I'm Roll and Move Kirk at Roll and Move Review on Twitter. And just a quick programming note: we'll have a live show in 2 weeks. It won't be on Sunday the 15th. I'm going to be out of town, so I'm going to have to film, or I'm going to have to shoot a little later in the week. I got to meet up with my guests and determine the time. But there will be a live show in 2 weeks, just not on the 15th. So thanks again for joining me. Links to all their information, everything they just told you, is going to be in the description here. Check out Asdruval on Board Game Breakfast and everything else he does whenever he does it. Anytime you can find Asdruval, you're going to have some really awesome board gaming conversation. And Cody, of course, Discriminating Gamer. Check out everything he does. Check out his YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter. And thanks again, guys. Great show.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it. Hope you had a good time. And we will talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.